Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, playing Doom Eternal. Welcome to the continuation of the Ancient Gods 2 100% walkthrough. This is the second mission called Reclaimed Earth. As with every video in my series, I'll show you things like Codex pages, BFG ammo, extra lives, and any other collectibles you can grab. As soon as you spawn, drop down and go left and grab the Codex page. Then, as you make your way across the area, you'll be introduced to a new enemy type called the Cursed Prowler. Go across to the other side of where the Codex page was, and here you can find an extra life. Now for this new enemy type, they can teleport and they will try to hit you. If they hit you, you become cursed with a green effect on your screen and you begin to lose health continually until you can kill the Cursed Prowler. The only way to kill the Cursed Prowler is via a blood punch, and they will be able to teleport and you will not be able to use things like lock on, for example, on your super shotgun. So the way this is going to change our gameplay is that you're always going to want to have at least one blood punch extra in your backpack just in case a Cursed Prowler spawns. Then an Armored Baron will spawn, so take care of them accordingly and continue. If you ever do find yourself with a Cursed Prowler nearby and no blood punch, you will need to try to quickly generate a blood punch by getting some glory kills on the fodder enemies. Now you can follow the waypoints to the next area.
Caution, Doomslayer sighting confirmed. Please save and exit your workspaces.
Once you enter this room, a ton of enemies will spawn. There's some chainsaw ammo you can pick up, and there's also a Sentinel Hammer ammo pickup in the corner, so feel free to generate some ammo and armor and health for yourself using the Sentinel Hammer, and then just refill your ammo in the corner. And additionally, there will be one Cursed Prowler that spawns during roughly the middle of this fight, and you will need a blood punch available for them. And at the end, a bunch of big Hell Knights, I believe they're called, will spawn. So just try to get into a safe spot where they're not all targeting you at the same time. Try to separate them a bit using the portals as well, and you should be able to just take them out slowly but surely, depending on whatever your strategy is. I found that the lock-on rockets were probably going to be the most useful, although I think in this clip that you're watching, I did use the plasma rifle lock-on quite a bit. And then just make sure you're saving at least one blood punch at all times, and try to save a Sentinel Hammer ability point for later. And yeah, just make sure you're practicing all of the good strategies you have, and make sure you use that super shotgun if you're running low on health, which is something that I didn't do a very good job of during this playthrough. With all of the enemies taken care of, you should have a checkpoint unlock. Make sure you just scavenge the room for anything you may have missed, like ammo or armor, and then we can continue towards the checkpoint where there is a little bit of platforming. Platforming is obviously a common theme in Doom Eternal, but especially in the DLC, there isn't necessarily a lot of platforming, but the platforming sections that do exist are pretty intense and very specific in terms of what the game wants you to do. Once you land in this next area, you will likely get an empowered enemy to come out. Sometimes they don't come out, but you'll also get 2 stone imps. For some reason, my full auto shotgun was not full auto anymore. So take out all of these enemies, and then as soon as we enter the next area, we can also grab an Automap. Automaps are obviously optional, but highly recommended. They allow you to very easily fast travel around the map if you do miss something at the end. So after this small cutscene, do make sure you grab that Automap. Then from the Automap, we can basically just continue and do a little bit more platforming in order to find the switch that opens up the doors and powers this area.
Power restored. You should be able to continue towards the gate now.
After using the switch and dropping down, we'll be introduced to a new enemy type called the Riot Soldier, which has a yellow shield in the front of it instead of the regular blue. This is an indestructible shield, so you'll have to either go around them in order to melee them, use something like a grenade, or what I prefer to use, although it sucks that you have to use the ammo type, is the rocket launcher. Just shoot the ground or wall behind them. After you take those guys out, a Bloodmaker will spawn, so get your precision bolt headshots ready, and hopefully you don't miss the shots like I do. I'm gonna, while waiting, also build up my blood punches, and there is a Sentinel Hammer ability to use, so feel free to use it, and you can restock since we're leaving this area anyways. Now what we can do is basically platform back to where we were and then melee the train car in order to gain access to the next area. Now coming up is what I believe could be the hardest fight in this DLC, and it will be our first escalation. And as soon as you enter, you can locate a BFG Ammo on the right hand side. However, I'm full on BFG Ammo by design. I'm going to be using my BFG during this fight on purpose, and then I can restock using the ammo in the corner whenever I'm leaving, or if I get in a pickle, I can also just use a second bullet. I would actually probably recommend you use 2 BFG ammo and leave the area with only 1, but use at least 1 if you're full during the fight. A ton of enemies will spawn, as always. You'll start with a couple of stone imps, you'll start with a mancubus, a couple of revenant will spawn eventually. You will have a spirit spawn that is possessing what I believe is an arachnotron. You will also have a marauder spawn at the end of the fight, and these are kind of the enemies you want to deal with. I recommend using your BFG ammo when the marauder spawns. This will help you kind of clear all of the enemies around you and just be able to focus on the marauder itself. You can use your Sentinel Hammer to daze the marauder into a longer daze, which can get you a little bit more DPS. The general strategy for the marauder that I enjoy using is the super shotgun to ballista back and forth switch. Additionally, during the middle of the fight, as you saw here, a Cursed Prowler will spawn. Try everything in your power to not get hit by it, which is kind of why I'm just sitting in the corner right here. I'm waiting for him to come back to me so I don't get punched. Take him out. If you do get punched, make sure you have that blood punch extra. But once you take out the Prowler, you should be good, and you can spend your blood punches if you so desire. Here you will see the Marauder. So once the Marauder spawns, I'm going to try to gain some distance from him and then use that BFG in order to clear as much of the extra enemies around me as possible, just to simplify the fight as much as I can. I'll take him out, and once I'm done, I can leave the area. Obviously, I will scavenge for ammo and armor, but additionally, if you want, you can do the second stage of the escalation in order to unlock an optional cosmetic item, as with all of the escalations. That's about it, and this is, in my opinion, probably the hardest fight. This is the fight that I lost the most lives on while practicing in order to get this video ready for you guys. The upgrade we're going to end up unlocking is the Fire and Ice boost, which allows us to generate more health and more armor if using the hammer on enemies that are burned or frozen. This is going to be really useful for us, by the way. Once the fight is over, make sure you grab that BFG ammo. You'll either have 1 or 2 bullets. If you have 1, that's actually completely fine. We'll be picking up another bullet pretty soon here. But you can now exit down underneath the escalation. As you jump down, turn left to find a Codex page and grab this. Then you'll have a bunch of enemies directly in front of you with like 6 or 7 Sentinel hammer pickups. These are basically here just for you to Sentinel hammer all of these enemies. There's only like 40 enemies and like 8 Sentinel hammer pickups, so really don't spend any of your precious ammo and instead build your armor and health through these, and then we can drop down. Once you drop down, you will see an enemy type called the Cue Ball. This was from the original game, and I think in the first DLC, but use the Cue Ball in order to take out the enemies in the back and then mop up whatever you missed. And then we can basically do platforming. We're gonna call it platforming, but it's underwater. So we're gonna swim towards the green light, through the train car, exit out the right-hand side onto the surface level, and then move towards the waypoint. And 3 enemies will spawn as soon as you get out of the water. Just take them out as fast as you can. Once the enemies are taken care of, you can navigate to the end of the hall, drop down into the water, and then follow towards the waypoint. Watch out for the fireballs, as they are there to basically take a little bit of health off of you. And the next fight isn't technically hard, but you never know. As soon as I do exit out the water, I do know that there is a BFG ammo coming up soon, so if you are full on BFG ammo, you might as well use it on the enemies that spawn through this door. If you only have 1 BFG, just save it and kill them as normal. There will be a spirited enemy, so make sure you destroy the spirit afterwards, and then we can move forward into the next room. There are 2 things we want to pay attention to and pick up as we enter. On the left-hand side as we enter, you can find a Codex page underneath a building, kind of, through some like glass here in the corner. This one's pretty easy to see. And there's also the BFG ammo in the back behind the truck. And now just take care of all of the enemies. This is a really short, sweet, and simple fight. And then we have a little bit of platforming afterwards. With everyone taken care of, you can now navigate towards this swing bar. Instead, go past it into this side room and mantle up on the wall, turn around and double jump onto the platform and pull the switch. This will power a push pad for us. So what we can do now is drop down, go on that swing bar I just mentioned, swing across the gap towards 1 push plate, towards a 2nd push plate, and then use your Meat Hook Grapple Point in order to get across the gap and into the next area. Once in this area, there will be a large fight. It's up to you how you take care of it, but there will be a couple of stone imps, a bunch of whiplash, and it will conclude with an armored baron, so make sure you save a little bit of your plasma rifle ammo. There will also be a bloodmaker, so get that precision bolt shot on that headshot to get a little bit of extra ammo. There's also a bunch of pickups for ammo and armor and all that stuff, and a chainsaw pickup as well if you do find yourself in a little bit of a pickle. If you are full on BFG ammo, I would recommend using one BFG bullet during this fight. There is a BFG ammo pickup in the room right after this fight, so you might as well use it if you're full. With this fight out of the way, we do have a little bit of platforming coming up now. The way these levels are designed is a little bit confusing. It's kind of hard to tell where they want you to go in a lot of them, so I don't blame you if you get a little bit lost. But here, there are these fireballs. What we need to do is jump over the fireballs and hang onto the wall above them, turn around, and then jump through these flames. A couple of really easy enemies to take care of, so take care of those enemies as quickly as you can. Watch out for these other fireballs, and then take out the few enemies that spawn in this room, and then we can use the gravity pusher thing in order to make our way to the next room after this. So once we take care of all of the enemies, we'll reach a checkpoint and the door will open in front of us, come around the corner, and 2 revenants will spawn, so take care of them quickly. And the BFG ammo is basically right after them, so I'll show you where that is. Instead of navigating to the platform to your left, look behind you and you'll notice a wall that you can smash through. This is a secret area, and at the top of the stairs, refill your BFG ammo. I did use mine in that fight that I mentioned earlier, which is why I could pick it up. But if you're full, you're full. There's nothing we can do about it now. Jump across the platform and then just navigate to the next fight. Now, as soon as you enter the next room, there is the opportunity to get an extra life, and I'm going to go for it right away. It's in this back room through the wall. You have to break through to get here. And the reason this is important is because there is a Screecher enemy, and this allows you to distance yourself from the Screecher as much as possible. The faster enemies will then run to you, and you can take care of them, making sure you don't accidentally kill the Screecher and empower and buff all of the enemies. As soon as you poke out of this door, a Cacodemon will spawn, so take care of them or use them to actually glide across to the next area. Once you do land, you'll notice an extra life 1-up. Unfortunately, we can't grab this until later, so just ignore it for now and go into the next room. In the next room, this is a very large-scale fight, which can be very difficult, but the layout of the fight allows you to move around very quickly and distance yourself from enemies if you so desire. There's also a Sentinel Hammer pickup if you need one, and hopefully you can manage your grenades and your ice and all that stuff when you need it. Now, in terms of the types of enemies that will spawn, a Doom Hunter will spawn, and then a second Doom Hunter will spawn, so make sure you take care of him. You can Blood Punch on his little podium, which is a quick way to break his shields, or use that plasma rifle. Once he's separated from his sled, I like to use the lock-on rocket launcher, but it is completely up to you. Additionally, there will be a Prowler who spawns, which just knocked me. So this Cursed Prowler is now going to be chased, but I'm going to lose a lot of health chasing him, and this is never, I never recommend getting hit by the Prowler on purpose. Additionally, you will get a spirited enemy that will spawn about halfway through. This enemy is the one that actually gave me the most issue, surprisingly, because I just kept getting cornered by enemies trying to focus on the spirited enemy. And at the end of the fight, the most important enemy, in my opinion, for you to take care of quickly is the Archvile. The Archvile buffs all of the enemies around it and also can hurt you pretty quickly and hits really, really hard. So as soon as the Archvile at the end spawns, I would recommend that this be your number one priority. And then as soon as you take care of everything, do a quick sweep of the area, and I'll rejoin with commentary before you leave to go to the next part. With all of the enemies taken care of, you will reach a checkpoint. Now, instead of leaving, go into the door we actually entered the room from. The map is going to be pretty useful here. But go back towards the extra life 1-up, and the door that leads to it will now be open since we completed the fight. So a little bit of backtracking, but we definitely want this extra life, especially if we're playing on, maybe we're playing on easy, and we're going for that extra life specific achievement or trophy. At this point, work towards the waypoint to exit the area. So go through this door. This will take you to an elevator lift. Take the elevator lift. There will be a Codex page coming up, so pay attention. But as soon as the door opens, walk forward and to the right to pick up the Codex page. And then what we can do is fast travel around the map just in case we miss anything, or if we do want to earn the cosmetic from the escalation, interact with the table, and then go through the portal to end the level. And I will rejoin you with yet another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. A special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, and hopefully I see you soon. Peace.